Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakandritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpade Gopesha Gopikaganta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhano Sade Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Paritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Adaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare Jaiti Jaiti Namananda Rupam Murare Viramite Nijadar Madhyana Pujadiyatam Katamapi Sakridatam Muktinam Pranyam Yat Paramam Ritam Ekanam Jivanam Bhushanam Me Madhuram Varurebhyopi Mangarebhyopi Mangalam Pavanam Pavanebhyopi Hare Namahe Kevalam. A reading from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Eastern section, second wave, Sarana Bhakti. So the last few verses were explaining about observing the appearance day of the Lord, attachment to serving the lotus feet of the deity. So in this text, 226, Ata Sri Bhagavat Arta Svado Yata Prathame, relishing Shema Bhagavatam from the first canto. Famous verse. Nigama kalpataror galidam palam sukamakadam ritata vasammutam pivada bhagatam rasamalayam horo rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. So, this is from the first canto, first chapter, text number 3. Very famous verse. A wonderful verse. Very long purport. Commentary by Jiva Goswami and a small commentary by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. O excellent thoughtful man, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desired three Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Sukadeva Goswami. Therefore this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. Jiva Goswami's commentary. O path to the highest bliss, Bhavukaha. So, O men who appreciate the love of the Supreme Lord, Rasika. So this is a word for word explanation which is explaining you situated on this earth, please relish and internalize pibata, the fruit called the Bhagavatam, the very form of ras, Rasamalayam, which has dropped down Galitam to this earth, coming from the tree of the Vedas, which grows in Vaikuntha and gives all types of fruits on its branches and twigs. You have attained that which cannot be easily attained. So, by using the word ras as a modifier, the Bhagavatam is described as having sweetness. But the real intention is to proclaim that Bhagavatam is completely sweetness. It is sweetness alone and nothing else. So Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from the Lord. The Lord is the essence of all sweetness. Madhuram, Adaram, Madhuram, Badaram, Madhuram, Nayanam, Madhuram, Hasidam, Madhuram, Hridayam, Madhuram, Gamanam, Madhuram, Madhuradi, Parira, Kila Madhuram. So everything about Krishna is sweet. His lips are sweet. His face is sweet. His eyes are sweet. His smiling is sweet. His heart is sweet. His walking is sweet. So everything is sweet about the Lord. So Bhagavatam is not different from the Lord. The scripture called the Bhagavatam is indeed tasty or rasavat. Ras means transcendental, mellow. So rasavat means it is tasty. Ras. So mellow is there, the taste is there. Just like in the summer, and as the example is given here also, this fruit, so that refers to the mango fruit. So that is well known when a parrot is eating a little bit the mango, then the mango is considered to have become more sweet. And similarly, when the devotees are reciting the Bhagavatam, it becomes more sweet. So the devotees are describing about Krishna, Krishna's pastimes. And the devotees who have realized the Supreme Lord. So they've realized the sweetness of the Lord. So therefore they can give that to become a man. Otherwise the common man is not able to fully taste the Bhagavatam or Krishna consciousness in the conditional state. But by hearing from the exalted Vaishnavas, then they can get a taste. So the scripture called the Bhagavatam is indeed tasty or rasavat, but is designated by the word ras to indicate that it is solely composed of ras, or sweet taste. Moreover, by the word Bhagavatam, that which is related to Bhagavan, the Lord, it is indicated that sweetness or ras also belongs to the Lord. Since Bhagavatam is the tadiya of the Lord, dear object related to the Lord, ras also is the tadiya of the Lord. So as mentioned here, so Bhagavan may be seen as tadiya of the Lord, dear object related to Lord, because it is describing about the Lord and the devotees. So similarly, ras, the taste is related to the Lord. The Supreme Lord means Akila Rasamrita Murti. So the embodiment of ras, or of sweetness, and different mellows are there. Akila Rasamrita Murti. So that means the different relationships with the Lord also. Prasimara Ruchi, Ruttarakapali, Kvalito Lalito, Shama, Radha Prey and Virur Jayati. So all relationships are indicated. This is from the first verse of the Srimad, of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So it is understood that all the rasas are there included in the Lord. All relationships, friendly relationship with his devotees, his parents are there. Maria Yashodananda Babu have parental affection for the Lord. So that is indicated, but specifically mentioned is the Madhurya Ras, Unadojara Ras, the confidential or most wonderful loving exchange of Krishna with the gopis. And there are different levels of, or different moods are there amongst the gopis also. And those who are most dear to Krishna, and especially Srimati Radharani is there, Radha Prey and Vidur Jayati, she is the most beloved of Krishna. And Lalita Vishaka there. And of course, then Shama is mentioned here also. And it is also explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjwal Nilamani. So Krishna is Nayak, the hero, transcendental hero, and the gopis are Nayika, heroines. And they are also mentioned the varieties of Nayikas of Krishna, heroines of Krishna, the different moods, so that is explained. Bhagavata means related to the Lord. Thus the words Bhagavatam Rasam can also mean a ras or sweetness related to the Lord. The definition of ras is indeed a relationship of pure affection for the Lord. This is understood from the statement of results described from reading the Bhagavatam. Yasyam vai Shrimanayam Krishne Parama Purushe Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsa Shokamoho Bhayapaha. Simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. The word ras is also employed in the Shruti to indicate directly Bhagavan, since he is composed completely of ras. The Shruti says, Rasavai Saha, he is ras. So, this ras is also the highest objective. Rasam hi evayam labdvanandi bhavati. Attaining that ras Bhagavan, the jiva becomes blissful. Thus the word rasika used in this verse indicates that realization of this ras belongs to those persons who have become accomplished in the ras only, through long impressions in past and present lives. Since one has to realize the law to realize ras. So Rasik Vaishnav is one who has actually realized Krishna's wonderful form and his relationship with Krishna. So the realized devotee, the advanced devotee, they can truly relish this transcendental mellow of the relationship with Krishna. So by serving Krishna for Krishna's satisfaction, then they can feel this transcendental bliss. They can relish the relationship with the Lord. So they are Rasik Vaishnavas. So these are the pure devotees who have realized Krishna Swarup on their own Swarup. The word galitam, fallen down, and also liquid and dripping, indicates the extremely ripened state of a fruit, and concerning scriptures, it indicates its very relishable nature as well as its success at bringing out the meaning of the scripture in the most skillful manner. So galitam, fallen down, and also liquid and dripping. So usually the fruits are falling from the trees when they are ripe. Otherwise usually they will not fall from the trees, but ripe apples, ripe mangoes. So the tendency is there to then fall for the ripe fruit. When it is completely ripe, as mentioned here. So, but as mentioned also, it refers to bringing out the meaning of the scripture. The word rasam, juice, used in describing a fruit, indicates that the fruit is totally without skin, seed, or other defects. So that, of course, is rarely seen in this world. For example, mango usually has a skin and a seed. Or even apple is there, and so hardly we can see that any fruit is there without skin, or then, so to say, also without seed. So in Mahaprabhu's pastime, so the devotees once they were actually fortunate in Mahaprabhu's association. So Mahaprabhu put one seed in the ground of the mango tree, and the mango tree immediately sprouted. There's the seed of a mango tree in the ground, and then the seed sprouted and became big very quickly, and then the fruits were there. Special tree. And then Mahaprabhu, he distributed the fruits. There were big mangoes. There also it is mentioned without skin and without seed. So rarest of the rare, so to say. So at least we haven't seen, or you have seen a mango without skin or without seed? No. So we can only conceive maybe it was very, very, very thin skin or very small seed. So concerning scriptures, it indicates that the scripture is without any inferior parts. Stating that the Bhagavatam is the supreme fruit of the tree of the Vedas indicates that the Bhagavatam is the highest goal of human endeavor. So Bhagavatam is known as Amara Purana, the spotless Purana. Saramhi. So the Bhagavatam so is the essence of the Vedic literatures. So therefore we are studying the Bhagavatam on a daily basis as Prabhupada instructed. Stating that Bhagavatam is the supreme fruit of the tree of the Vedas indicates that the Bhagavatam is the highest goal of human endeavor. So therefore Prabhupada established that daily we should hear the Bhagavatam, read the Bhagavatam. Though the completely sweet fruit is excellent by its nature, in order to convey its supreme position, another excellence is then described. In describing the fruit, an analogy is given. Because of living in the tree, the parrot astonishingly develops a very sweet mouth. The fruit touched by the parrot's sweet mouth becomes additionally sweet. In the same way, the descriptions of the Lord touched by the mouth of highly elevated devotees becomes even sweeter. Then how much more sweet the Bhagavatam will become when it emanates from the mouth of Shukadev, the great king of all the greatest devotees. Having attained the culmination of the highest state, naturally a person can have no satisfaction in anything else. Therefore drink this, since this sweet fruit includes even the bliss of liberation within it. Ah means including, and laya means liberation. Later Shukadev will say, Parinishthitopi nairgunya uttam shloka lilaya griyata cheta raja se akyanam yad aditavan. O saintly king, I was certainly situated perfectly in transcendence, liberation. Yet I was still attracted by the delineation of the pastimes of the Lord, who is described by enlightened verses. So, Sukadeva Goswami is relating how he was attracted hearing the pastimes of the Lord. By mentioning liberation, which is eternal and inexhaustible, it is thus indicated that the taste intrinsic to the Bhagavatam will not diminish either with the passage of time or by an increase in the number of people who relish it. So Bhagavatam is always relishable. And even if more people are there, so it can help practically anyone, or so many persons may be attracted. Alternatively, there is another meaning of alayam. Thus, alayam can mean leading up to prema and including the stage of complete prema. Laya can mean great attachment and the sattvic bhav of fainting or pralay, which arises from attachment in prema. Bhagavatam has topics leading up to prema and topics which are prema, the pastimes of Krishna. So that can be another meaning of alayam. This is because in the Bhagavatam there are two types of ras. Though both are filled with affection for the Lord, that which is used for leading up to the topmost taste, and that which is fully developed in taste for the Lord. Thus it is said in the 12th canto. Kata imusti katita maishayam vitaya lokeshu jasa pariyasam Vijnanai vairagya vivakshaya vibho vacho vibhuti anatu paramatyam. Yat yatuttama shloka gunanuvadaha sangiyate abhikshnam amangalagna tam eva nitam sinuyada bhiksham. Krishne malam bhakti mapipsamanaha. O mighty Parikshit, I have related to you the narrations of all these great kings who spread their fame throughout the world and then departed. My real purpose was to teach transcendental knowledge and renunciation. So, Parikshit, Sukadeva is speaking to Parikshit. So here, Sukadeva is saying, my real purpose was to teach transcendental knowledge and renunciation. Stories of kings lend power and opulence to these narrations, but in themselves do not constitute the ultimate aspect of knowledge. The person who desires pure devotional service to Lord Krishna should hear the narrations of Lord Uttama Shloka's glorious qualities, the constant chanting of which destroys everything inauspicious. So the Lord is known as, addressed as Uttama Shloka. So he is glorified by the devotees who recite beautiful prayers, selected prayers, Uttama, Uttama, so exalted, so above, Uttama, Tama, ignorance, Ut, so also above the modes of material nature, transcendental. So one should be engaged in hearing about Krishna's wonderful qualities. And by constantly chanting the holy names or engaging in devotional service, so that which is inauspicious is destroyed. Padida Pavana Nama Nistara in Radha Maha Radha Krishna Sarupaya Chaitanyaya Namo Namaha. So Krishna Nam is most merciful, the deliverer of the falls, the deliverer of the fallen. So non different from Radha Krishna, the Mahamantra. And we take shelter of Mahaprabhu. So by remembering Mahaprabhu, Krishna, everything is auspicious. By remembering Mahaprabhu, difficult things, so big problems become small. And if you forget Mahaprabhu, then small problems become big. The devotee should engage in such listening in regular daily assemblies and should continue his hearing throughout the day. The verse having described the Bhagavatam has the general nature of ras, then indicates the more particular nature of that ras with the word amritam. Amritam refers to sweetness or ras of the Lord's pastimes. In the 12th canto, this speciality of the Bhagavatam is mentioned. Adimadya vasana adimadya vasanesu vairagyakyana samyutam harilila kata vrata mritanandita tat sarvam. From the beginning to end, the Srimad Bhagavatam is full narrations that encourage renunciation of material life, as well as nectarian accounts of Lord Hari's transcendental pastimes, which give ecstasy to the Atmaramas, who relish nectar. So you can read the Bhagavatam in the beginning, at the middle, or at the end, that it is always very helpful. So even those who are highly advanced, Atmaramas, they will relish the Bhagavatam. Atmaramas tumuna yanikarantya prakrama Kurvanti aituktim bhakta uttam bhuto guno harihi. For the Atmaram devotees and the realized devotees, so they will relish the transcendental loving exchange with Krishna by reading the Bhagavatam. So Lord Hari's transcendental activities, pastimes are relishable. The word Sat refers to the Atmaramas. So in this verse. The same meaning is found in other places such Itam Satam Brahma Sokanubhav. Itam Satam Brahma Sukhanubhutya is the source of the Brahman effulgence. For Jnanis Satam desiring to merge into that effulgence. These Atmaramas are also called Sura in the verse Sat Sura. Because they taste only nectar as the Devadas do. Furthermore, one should equate the real sweetness of Bhagavan with Lord Krishna's pastimes, Ras Lila, as indicated in the following quotation, also from the Bhagavatam, 12th canto, 4th chapter. Samsara Sindhu Madhistustharamutete Sure Nanyam Platva Bhagavata Purushottamasya Lila Katarasa Niseva Nam Antarena Pumso Bhaved Vivida Dukkha Davartitasya. For a person who is suffering in the fire of countless miseries and who desires to cross the insurmountable ocean of material existence, there is no suitable boat except that of cultivating devotion to the transcendental taste for the narrations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's pastimes. Lila Kata Rasa Sevanam. Lila Kata Ras. Hare Krishna. So that is very important aspect of devotional service, the hearing of the Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing about Krishna's name, form, qualities and pastimes. However, by using the word drava, liquid, juice, essence, with Amrit, the Bhagavatam is described as having the very essence of sweet pastimes. This should be explained as follows. Though the ras composed of priti is the best, there is some distinction in this. There are two types of experience of that ras. Those who are taught about ras, they are ordered to drink the nectar of ras. So two types of ras. Those who are taught about ras and those who are natural experiences, being participants in the pastimes of the Lord.
Means those who are spectator and those
What's
who
that?
Does it mean those who are spectator, who are like looking or
Hearing.
witnessing, and those who are really inside, who are really, this is two different experiences.
Of course, yeah. And the pure devotees are fully absorbed in that. Those who are listening, they may, to some extent, be absorbed. If Chugdev Goswami is explained in regards to hearing Krishna Katha, the one who is speaking is there, the one who is asking questions from the speaker, and those who are simply listening. And then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining that the one who is speaking is actually most fortunate because he's fully absorbed. So the second is the one who is asking questions. So because he's eager to hear, so he's also quite absorbed. And then those who are simply listening, they may be falling asleep. So they cannot fully absorb. They can absorb something, but not fully. So with those who are speaking, they are actually most fortunate, they are most absorbed. And they feel the greatest pleasure also. Because the mind is flickering, and if one is simply listening, sometimes the mind is going here and there. But if one is inquisitive, then he will have some questions, and then he will listen more attentively. And when he's asking, then he may get the question, and he may get the answer to the question. So he's inquisitive, he's asking. Then he may get the answer to his question. Usually he will. So those who are fully absorbed, they are most fortunate, and they feel the greatest transcendental pleasure. And those who are practicing devotees and they're trying to be absorbed, so they will get some experience, but it is not as the pure devotees who are fully absorbed. So there's a difference there.
And sometimes an advanced devotee is asking a question that looks like a question that has already been asked many times.
Yeah, so many times the advanced devotee is asking question actually for the benefits of the audience. He may already know the answer to the question, but he's asking just for the benefit of the audience, the general devotees. And yes, many times the question has been already asked also. And we can see in the Bhagavatam also, many times it has been explained. So that particular speaker is saying, when he's asked something, and then he will reply and say that, oh yes, your question is very nice. And so, and then he will actually give some example, and so by which the devotee he may be able to understand better. So therefore, so the acharyas have explained that we should hear the Bhagavatam from the experienced devotees. We should ask questions. So because if one is simply hearing or one is simply reading on one's own, that then one may not be able to be so absorbed, and one may not be able to understand properly or fully. But if one is then hearing from a speaker, then he may ask the speaker, and then he may get a wonderful explanation, which otherwise he would not have been able to understand. However, by using the word drava, liquid juice essence, with Amrit, the Bhagavatam is described as having the very essence of sweet pastimes. This should be explained as follows. Though the ras composed of Priti is the best, there is some distinction in this. There are two types of experience of that ras. Those who are taught about ras, they are ordered to drink the nectar of Bhagavatam. And those who are natural experiencers, being participants in the pastimes of the Lord. Those who are participants in the pastimes experience the ras of the pastimes and realize directly the essence of the ras because they are participating in those very pastimes. Those who are taught about ras experience ras only to some degree because of being outside the pastimes. So that has been explained also in the beginning. Rasika. So those who are actually realizing their relationship with Krishna, ras. So they are known Rasika. So the Nitya Siddha Parikars, the eternal associates of Krishna, they are there in the pastimes with the Lord. So they can fully experience ras. So they are participants in the pastimes. So these are the eternal associates. And the devotees who come to the perfectional stage and realize Krishna Sarup and their Sarup, they can also see the pastimes of the Lord. And there's an exchange with the Lord. But they are not fully absorbed in the Lord. They are not there in the pastime. They're observing the pastimes. So, but they are also realized. So Sarup Siddhi, they've realized. But then entering the pastimes, that is then Vastu Siddhi, Vastu Gat. So those who are in the pastimes, the eternal associates, or those who will then enter the Lord's pastime in one of the universes after having attained Sarup Siddhi, then he can go there and enter into the pastimes. Otherwise one is simply experiencing from outside, which is already good enough if you can see the pastimes of the Lord, which is very rare. Rarely achieved, but possible but rarely achieved. By chanting the holy names, Shuddhanam, then one may see Krishna, Krishna's associates, and his pastimes. So those who are taught about ras experience us only to some degree because of being outside the pastimes. This being so, they should then drink here the essence of ras, the pastimes filled with the experiences of direct participants, identifying those experiences with their own realization of ras. That will have effect because the ras of Bhagavatam flows like a stream, Galitam, from the mouth of Sukadev, as if he is a direct experiencer, because he is similarly identified with the experiences of the direct participants in the pastimes. In this way, the highest state of rasa in devotion to the Lord is expressed in the words of this verse. This is also stated elsewhere. Sarva Vedanta Saram Hi Sri Bhagavatam Ishyate Tat Rasamrita Tiptasya Nanyatra Syadrata Rati Kvachit is also a famous verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 12th canto, 13th chapter. Srimad Bhagavatam is declared to be the essence of all Vedanta philosophy. Sarva Vedanta Saram Hi. One who has felt satisfaction from its nectarian mellow will never be attracted to any other literature. Tad rasamrita triptasya. And so those who have tasted that ras, they will never be attracted to something else when they have tasted the Srimad Bhagavatam. There's no the scriptures as the Bhagavatam. To indicate this, the word bhavukaha is explained as rasa vishesha bhavana chatura, those skillful at experiencing the most excellent ras. So the word bhavuka also means having a good taste, being auspicious. So, in other words, actually that means the bhavukas, they are on the platform of bhav. So they are experiencing that ras to some extent, the Bhavuk Vaishnavas, they are on the platform of bhav. They understand this subject matter and they try to be absorbed in that. So these are Bhavuk Vaishnavas. To indicate this, the word bhavuka is explained as rasa vishesha bhavana chatura, those skillful experiencing the most excellent rasa. In the commentary of Sridhar Swami, such persons are described in the Bhagavatam. Navai jano jatu katanchana vrajan mukunda sevyanyavat anga samsritim smaram mukudangri paguhanam punar vihatum ichen narasa graho janaha. My dear Vyas, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes fall down somehow or other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like others, fruitive workers, etc. Because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord, Rasagraha, can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. So that was the long purport commentary of Jiva Goswami on this famous verse.
What does it mean, rasaga? What is the meaning of rasaga?
Rasa means the taste, graha means those who are able to taste that, to accept that. Grahan. So
Krishna is called Bhavagrahi.
Bhavagrahi Janardhan. Bhava Grahi Janadan. So he's accepting the bhav of the devotee.
Gurudev, there is one question.
Uh-huh.
Swati Yadav, in reading or hearing, which is the most effective?
Reading or hearing?
Which is the most effective?
Hearing from the advanced devotees is more important than reading. Because if we read ourselves and we are not yet so advanced, then we can have some understanding and that will be useful. But if we hear from the advanced devotees who have realization, and then we can get that realization of that pure devotee. So, that is the purpose of hearing Bhagavatam, especially from those who are more advanced, who are Shastravid, who know the scriptures, Siddhantavid, they know the conclusions of the scriptures, Rasatattvavid, so they have understood the transcendental literatures in regards to this transcendental mellow in relationship to Krishna, especially in Brajabhav. And so to hear from them, then we can be blessed by their explanations, and that may then come in our heart. So they speak about Krishna. Krishna becomes present. Krishna is there in the heart of the pure devotee. And when he's speaking Krishna Katha, then Krishna is there on the tongue, dancing on the tongue. Krishna's beautiful form is there. Tribang Lalit Shyama Sundar. Pitamra Vesh, he's wearing yellow dhoti, he's holding a flute. And there's a peacock feather in his head or crown. So when we hear from the advanced devotee, then that Krishna can come in our heart, in our consciousness. So we hear about Krishna and the beautiful form of Krishna. And that if we are submissive and hearing, the heart is open, then Krishna will enter by hearing. And so the vibration is there, even somebody may be sleeping, but still the effect will be there also. So by hearing we can also see. By hearing about Krishna, then from the advanced devotee, then we can see Krishna. So then being there in the heart, so that not means in the physical heart which is there, which is very essential in the body, the heart, and the blood is coming in and out. So the soul is there in the region of the heart. And similarly the super soul or Krishna is there in the heart. Premanjana churir bhakti vilochanena santa sadeva hiriyeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achinta guna sarupam govinda mari purusham tamaham bhajami. Because they have prem, they have love. So therefore the devotees, they can see Krishna constantly. Santa sadeva hiriyeshu. In the heart they can see. And then when we can hear, that may come in our heart also. So by hearing we can see, and that is usually more effective than reading, mostly. Because if one is on the modes of material nature, then his reading, something may be there, but it is not transcendental experience. But when the advanced, the pure devotees are speaking, that Krishna is manifest, and that is transcendental experience, and that may come to the receptive devotee, to the sincere devotee who is inquiring. So therefore in the beginning stage, so hearing is very important. But even in a more advanced stage, only those who are realized, so they may sometimes not read anymore so much because they have realized Krishna. Then what else you have to hear? And then when Krishna is manifest, his qualities, and then the pastimes will be manifest. But still, so the advanced devotee will also read. So just to set the example. So that by reading, so the pure devotee, when he's reading, the Krishna is there. So he's reading about Krishna, he's seeing Krishna. But if one is not so advanced, so he's reading, but he cannot see Krishna fully. Something is there, but it is not complete. But the pure devotee is there, is situated in his swarup. So then he can see. So hearing is better than reading. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. In the previous verse of the Bhagavatam, means the second verse, the powers of Bhagavatam to capture the Lord in the heart were described. In this word, the sweetness of Bhagavatam is described. Nigama refers to the Veda. The Veda is a desire tree because it naturally gives fruit in the form of various purusharthas. So Veda is a desire tree. So from a desire tree you can get whatever you want, whatever you need. So by approaching the scriptures you may gain so much knowledge for advancing in spiritual life, spiritual knowledge, but even knowledge of this world, because we are in this world and so we have to also have knowledge in this regards of this world. So everything is there in the Vedic literatures. Shastra, the scriptures, Vastu Shastra, how to make a house, where is the kitchen in the Agnikon, southeast, that is known as Agnikon. So the kitchen should be there. Ishakon, northeast. So that is the corner of the Lord, the deity should be there. So and then if one is sick, one may go to the Vaidya who has knowledge how to cure a disease by giving them natural medicine, Ayurvedic medicine. So therefore the Bhagavatam or the Vedic literatures, they are desire trees. So here specifically also it is mentioned the Veda is a desire tree because it naturally gives fruit in the form of various Purusha art. Human goals, which usually the humans, they want these. Purusha art. Artha dharma kama moksha. So one is engaging in some activity and then one will get some art, some result, fal. And then mostly it is done for sense gratification, but that is not the purpose. So we have to have some activity in this world, but Krishna should be in the center for Krishna's pleasure. But if we are householders, then we need some means also to take care of the family. But Krishna should be in the center. Dharma, one has to perform one's dharma. So ultimately, Jaiva Dharma, Vastav Dharma, that is service to Krishna. But then he may also refer to Vana ashram dharma, which has to be followed also. But Krishna has to be in the center, it is for Krishna's pleasure. Calm, so one is engaged in some activity, one is religious, and then one will get some result also. And then one may engage in sense clarification, but that should be restricted so that we can make advancement in spiritual life. And then moksha, attain liberation. These are pusha artha. And the pancha purushartham art, so the fifth. So that is actually by engaging in devotional service and developing our natural love for Krishna, by becoming purified in existence, then the love will manifest. And that is actually the goal that is to be achieved. However, because of its nature as a tree, being magnanimous, fulfilling everyone's desire, it also gives the fruit known as Bhagavatam. Since some people desire that, so the Srimad Bhagavatam, as mentioned before, Srimad Sarva Vedanta Saram Hi. So Bhagavatam is the essence of the Vedic literatures. So as mentioned here, so it may be seen as the ripened fruit of the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam also means that which belongs to Bhagavan as the proprietor. This implies that he alone gives the scripture to his devotees, and thus persons other than them do not have rights to it. Galita means that it falls down of its own accord when ripened on the tree, not by force. Thus, it is completely full of sweetness. Even after falling from high position in the tree, it does not break, nor does it lose its sweetness. That is because it comes down from the highest position, from Narayan to the branch of Brahm, then to the lowest branch of Narad, then to Vyas, and finally to the mouth of Shuka. So usually when a ripe fruit is falling from a tree, so like a ripe mango, it falls. Big tree, and it falls to the ground. If it is very ripe, then it may break. And even the nectar may come out. So that is there, that is seen many times. Even apples, then those who are very ripe, they fall and then they're on the ground, it may be raining, and then so it is almost, and it may become rotten. Partially at least. So, but here it is referred to then the Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the Vedic literatures. So it is handed down. The spiritual master is there, Sukadeva Goswami giving to his disciple, Present day, the spiritual master gives the book, which is offered to the deity. So the fruit that is brought down from the spiritual master. So the knowledge is considered the fruit also. The spiritual master is giving to the disciple. And he will give to his disciple and so on. So in this way, then the fruit, if it is handed down, so that can be seen also sometimes. So we remember even in our childhood we used to sometimes go to the fruit trees and climb up and then take the fruit and give it down to the person underneath. Carefully, or so it doesn't become damaged. Yes.
Lord Chaitanya distribute the fruit of the love of God. Is it the same? Does it mean the same? That he says there is so many fruit, I cannot distribute them.
Yeah, when he was in Varanasi.
So he's asking, please help me to distribute.
Right. Yes.
Fruit.
Yes.
Does it refer to the same idea, the fruit, as this fruit of knowledge? Or
Yes.
fruit of
Yeah,
love?
the same idea is there, which is there. So Mahaprabhu was there, and he came to give Krishna consciousness. So he came to give love of Godhead. So, but because in Varanasi there were many Mayavadis, and the Mayavadis are not interested. So then he was saying also, nobody's there willing to take the fruits. What can I do? I just go to some other place. So the same idea is there, yes. So that is because he comes down from the highest position, from Narayan to the branch of Brahma, then to the lower branch of Narad, then to Vyas, and finally to the mouth of Shuka. Thus, without being injured, it is endowed with liquid sweetness like honey. The parrot Shuka has even made an opening in the fruit with his beak for bringing out the sweetness. Moreover, having been tasted by him, that fruit becomes even sweeter. Moreover, it remains unbroken, coming down step by step from the branch of Sutta and others. What is implied here is that without the Guru Parampara, one cannot drink Bhagavatam in its unbroken form just by trying to taste it through use of one's limited intelligence. So by the mercy of the Spirit Master, then we may be able to taste this transcendental knowledge. Otherwise it is difficult. Jai.